Now, if we look at home sales, and this is going back to 1990. Now, what you'll notice here that there are columns here that are colored pink, and there are two sets of them. One was 2006 through 2008, which was the Great Recession, right? We saw the market drop basically 30% from 6.5 million home sales a year down to 4.1. Well, guess what? We had the same thing happen in 2021, where we went from 6.1 to 5 million to 4.1 million. So, in essence, the real estate industry went into recession. Now, the difference between the 2020s versus the 2006 through 2008 is that back then, the economy went into recession. We've been very fortunate this time around. The economy hasn't followed suit yet, but we'll see what happens. Now, thing I want you to notice here is that once we hit bottom in 2008, we actually stayed flat for 4 years before we started to climb out of that. Well, if you look at what's happened here, we've been in a flat market in terms of sale numbers for the last three. And if history does repeat itself, chances are this year could be more of the same, right? Where we have another flat year before we start to see things take off. Again, I'm not I can't read a crystal ball. My crystal ball's a little cloudy. So, but what I would say is that I believe that 4 million is probably the floor. And what I mean by that is it's probably the least number of homes that we're going to sell annually in this country. And that's simply based on the population of our country. In fact, at 4.06 million home sales, look back and when was the last time we did numbers that low? And in fact, you have to go all the way back to 1995. Now, the difference between 1995 and 2025 is that we actually have 70 million more people in this country. So, regardless of what the interest rates are, regardless of how many people have sub 3% mortgage rates who feel like they're locked into their home, you understand that there are going to be enough life events that are going to occur which would cause a minimum of 4 million home sales. And what I mean by that, I call them the 6 Ds, right? Death, divorce, debt, the job, diapers, and Democrats. Right. And what I mean by that is all of those are life events that actually cause real estate transactions to happen. Right. Somebody dies. Real estate gets sold and passed on to the heirs. Debt, that's a big driver, right? People lose their jobs. They can't afford to make the house payment. They will liquidate their home. Oh, divorce, another reason people sell. The job, right? There are a lot of people who have to change because their job either relocates them, i.e. the military, or they take a different job in a different town. And oh, by the way, diapers. As families grow, guess what? They need more space. And then, of course, Democrats, and I do that tongue in cheek, I'm not making a political statement here, but in my 32 years in real estate, it's really been the last 6 or 7 years that I've seen really for the very first time people relocating from one state to another for political reasons, either moving from blue states to red states or red states to blue states. So all of those are reasons that people will sell. And I believe based on our current population, this number is the least we're going to see going forward. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and join us as we continue to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living.